Okay then folks, hello, it is the evening, it is 6 o'clock, 20 past 6, and I've just had my first day canvassing. Yeah, I'm on Coldham's Lane, and I said I started at 10 AM, right, and I've walked down the whole of Coldham's Lane and Brooks Road, and I knocked on every single door and I wrote down the results, alright? So I treated it like I was conducting a survey, and I'm very tired now, so I apologise if this is a bit all over the place, but I've just spent the whole day talking basically, and anybody who's been canvassing before or surveying, or indeed anyone who deals with public on a daily basis, knows how tiring it can be. So this is just a quick one, just to say it was my first day canvassing. I think it went really well. I've got a lot of good feedback. Now of course not everybody is in during the day, but there was enough people in their houses for me to actually have an encounter, and I'll just show you basically the results. So I started off at the top of Coldham's Lane, and if you take a look at the map, I'll overlay a map here. Coldham's Lane starts up here next to Cromwell Road, and I walked all the way down from 150 all the way down to the Sainsbury's roundabout. Alright, that was the first stint, and in that stretch I knocked on 80 houses, and out of those 80 I wrote down, I would say I had 25 positive interactions. You know, there are these people who are like, no, I'm not going to vote, or not interested, or whatever. They're few and far between. I had about 3 or 4 of these people today. I met one person who disagreed with me that the bridge should stay open, and every other person who I met today was on board with what I was saying. Okay, so let's just say that I think it was a positive day, and I think I'm going in the right direction. The second stint of the day was Brooks Road. I did that after I had a little bit of lunch in that cafe on the roundabout. And again, I had a good response from these guys. I knocked on 55 houses, and out of those 55, 22 people came out and spoke to me, and I had what I would say, I would call it a positive response. People who are at least aware of what I'm doing, aware of the Mill Road Bridge situation, still remember the congestion charge issue, are against Labour or have become disillusioned with Labour and would be willing to vote for an independent candidate, open to it, you know, if they knew more about me. So I introduced myself, I said this is what I'm doing, I'll drop round some literature for you later on so you can remember me, and I invited them to the hustings on the 25th, and there's also an open evening tomorrow night. And what else should I say? I mean, this is how I approach the day really, and I'll do it again on Thursday. When they answer the door, I say, hi, sorry to bother you. I'm canvassing your area at the moment for next month's election. I was wondering if I could have a couple of minutes to ask your opinion about about what you're thinking. So it's also like a kind of an opinion survey. So I go right in with, you know, were you consulted over the closure of Mill Road Bridge? And along Coldham's Lane, the answer has all been no, I wasn't. And then I say, are you in favour of closing the bridge? And they say, no, I'm not. And then we talk about that for a little bit, and then I say, you know, if I'm standing as an independent, would you consider voting for me? After we've talked a bit about, you know, the background of what's happened over the last year and my involvement with Friends of Mill Road Bridge and the judicial review and stuff like that. Excuse me a minute, my phone's ringing. I'll call them back. And then obviously I ask them more about what their issues are in the local area, and you get some interesting feedback too. And so I'm now collecting this data. Yeah, this is my survey. It's only day one. Coldham's Lane and Brooks Road, and I should say only one half of the road. I didn't go on to the other half of the road, so I'm going to have to come back up here again, and do the other side of the street next time. But I think this is a pretty good way of going about it. Anyone who's done the door-to-door stuff will know it's a bit of a slog, and yes, you never know what's going to come out of the door, but I have a good way with people. I can you know, we engage quite effectively. I haven't had a single bad response. I was talking to the taxi driver this morning, and he was like, good luck, but you know, just be prepared, you might get some pretty hostile responses. And there is a bit of that, but as soon as people realise that you're not Labour or Conservative or Liberal Democrat, they're actually open to talking to you. One guy said, I'm not voting, you're wasting your time, I'm just not going to vote. And even if I did vote for you, it wouldn't make any difference anyway. I was like, sir, I completely understand, but maybe I can convince you. I'll come back with some literature later on. He was very funny, but he said, you're lucky that you're independent because Labour and Conservatives get told to fuck off. That was what he said. So I'm going to hopefully maybe get him to vote this time. And it is a shame when you meet these people who are just like, I'm not voting, I've been here for 50 years, it makes no difference, they're all corrupt. You know, and I get that, I completely get it. But at the same time, there was more than enough people just along this stretch here who were totally on board with what I was saying, were well up for voting independent, would put a sign in their window, they're down with Labour, they're down with everything that they've been doing in recent years. They feel like they're not being listened to. They're willing to give an independent candidate a chance to speak and to represent them and hopefully maybe channel their concerns in a more direct and honest manner than what the Labour Party and the Liberal Democrat Party and the Conservative Party have done. One person said they vote based on who the candidate is, so they're not necessarily loyal to one way or the other. They've lived here for 35 years. In the past, they've had really good candidates, Labour and Conservative. They come and go. So if there's a good enough candidate steps forward, they would consider voting for them. So this is all I'm saying. This is what today was about. I was completely dreading it for obvious reasons. You're waking up in the morning thinking, can I maybe get away with not doing it today? You know, try and avoid the situation, but you know, because I'm not terribly looking forward to knocking on people's doors and saying, hello, will you vote for me? But actually it went really well. And there were a couple of people who already knew me through social media and my work as the Cambridge Cracker. And actually one woman had a copy of my book. She was completely on board with it. She said that I have a good way of explaining things, which is sort of simple and direct and honest, which she really, really appreciates. Another guy actually stopped me on the street while I was going along. He was walking back from the shops and he recognised me. He said, hi, are you canvassing? And I was like, yeah. He goes, are you the Cambridge Cracker? And I was like, yeah. And he already knew about the work as well, and he just said how much he kind of appreciated what I was doing, and he was willing to help, and he was going to tell his neighbours and things. He lives around the corner from here. And so I'm getting all of these guys' names and addresses, and I'm going to go back to them, and I'm going to, you know, put the literature through their doors, ask them to put the posters up, and we're going to go from there. Alright, so that's the first day, and I'm calling this Will's independent survey of the Romsey Ward. Alright, this is what we're going with, and over this next 4 weeks I'm gonna hopefully, I'm not gonna be able to speak to everyone, of course, but I'm at least gonna attempt to knock on every single door. Whether there's somebody in or not remains to be seen, but I'm having a good time, and you know, and you chat to people. I even had a good conversation with a guy who doesn't even live here. He's just an engineer who lives in Bedford, but he works in Cambridge enough to be concerned with what happens on the roads. And then we just had a chat about general politics, and that's always good to do as well. All right, I'm here to go. I'm focusing on the detail. There's only one way you can do these things, and that's systematically and methodically. I might run out of steam halfway through, anything can happen, you know, but I am convinced, I've spoken to enough people now, not just today, but over the last few months and year, that most people who I talk to would hook up with it and at least give me a chance. One guy was like, no, I'm not voting, no, I don't vote. And then I talked to him a little bit about why and what I'm doing, and then as I'm just explaining what's happening, you can see that light go off, and they got that little smile, and he just says, alright, I'll give you a chance, Will. Alright, I'm in for a penny, in for a pound, I'll vote for you. So it's happening. That is happening. And also I want to point out that some of these guys, well, one of these people who already recognized me before I came, he had heard my name on Nextdoor. It's Nextdoor, and this is the platform which they constantly try to block me from using. But the name is getting out there, and people look at Nextdoor but don't engage with it. They just read it, and it's a very important tool for sending a message out to the public, which is also why I find it so egregious that they keep trying to block me from using it. But they're not succeeding. They won't succeed, and I'm going to carry on going. Tomorrow I'm at work, back at the shop, but that's when I'm going to finish off my first round of pamphlets. I'm going to do the pamphlets in waves. I'm not just going to do a massive batch of 5,000 and then distribute them everywhere. I'm going targeted approach. So all of these people who I met today, my results are here. 135 houses knocked on, 47 responses which were either positive or open-minded. So 47 of these addresses are going to get pamphlets directly to them, written by me, and they're going to remember that, and they're going to go, oh, there's that guy who I met yesterday, and there's that William Burnell. Here's his poster, and put it up on the window. And I'm also asking people if they, like, when I meet them, if they could make a post on social media, so hopefully the word can start to spread that way too. Anyway, I'm tired. I think that walking along, knocking on doors is one of the most exhausting, draining things, but it's very interesting. I wouldn't say exciting, but it's cool. I like it. I like meeting the people, and there is a different person behind every one of those doors, and they've all got shit going on. Some of them you can tell that, like one woman came to the door, she was like, just woken up, and she's like, sorry, I've been asleep all day, I'm on a night shift, can you fuck off please? I was like, sorry. And then you got a lot of people who work from home, you know, they come to the door like, sorry, what? I'm on a meeting, can you come back later? I was like, alright, fine. But you know, other than that, I think Romsey is ready for an independent candidate, and I think that independent candidate is me. God damn it, William Burnell. So this video will go out probably late tonight or maybe early tomorrow morning. If you have time, come and see me at the Salisbury Club at 6:30. That's Wednesday, that's tomorrow. That's in case, just want to make sure. Wednesday the 3rd of April, 6:30 onwards. It's an open evening at the the Salisbury Club on Mill Road, and then I'm gonna organise one at the Brook as well, because I was told that the owner of the Brook is on board with us. One of the guys who I met along here recommended, he said, actually you should go and talk to the people at the Brook, because I go down there and we would all vote for you. So I'm going to go to the Brook and organise an open evening as well. The only thing which is on the calendar at the moment is the hustings for the 25th, and that's at the Ross Street Romsey Community Centre. See? And you can see why I get so exhausted, because of all this information that I have to spew out. It's tiring, man, but rewarding and fun. Why can't we all have a bit of fun? You know, these are dark times. We're living in a dark and strange and terrible world, but there's no reason why we can't try to lighten the mood a little bit and have a good time. And even if we don't agree with each other, let's agree to disagree. Pat each other on the back, buy each other a drink, and walk on. That's my style, man. And what can I say? That's it. William Burnell reporting for Cambridge Cracker. It's the 2nd of April. It's 6:33. I've been going since 10 AM, and I'm going again on Thursday. See you later.